Well, we are here tonight for another edition of Altitude After Dark. We appreciate you watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. We appreciate that. Your boys, DMac, along with Coach Mike Sanford. Can't wait to hear about Mike's take on all sorts of things. But we start off with the Pro Bowl selection, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
So we get Nick Bonito, Marvin Mims as a returner, and Pat Surtain. We do have some alternates, and I'm confused by alternates because, they don't really play a game anymore. So why exactly do we have alternates for a game that doesn't get played? But whatever. Here are the alternates: Quinn Miners, Mitchell Fraboni.
The
He's on the
Frabonster.
team. Yeah, I love it. Garrett Bowles, Will Lutz, Zach Allen, Michael Burton. Maybe because there's only like 3 fullbacks in the league.
Yeah.
Bo Nix and Brandon Jones. Okay. Boy, Cortland Sutton's not even an alternate.
That's weird.
Okay. Interesting. What do you think about the 3 that were selected? The alternates and the snubs out there. Who got snubbed the most? Who deserved it? What's your take on that?
The Zach Allen snub is ridiculous. I totally disagree with that. I don't really know what the Pro Bowl is anymore. It seems like a weird, like it's a trick shot contest or,
No.
of like a fiery hula hoop run through contest. Like, I don't even know what the actual Pro Bowl is anymore. I know it does impact players and their bonus structures. I know that those types of accolades do matter to the players, but yeah, Zach Allen should be a Pro Bowler. Especially with how he even finished the year. He started the year absolutely on fire, doing things that nobody else was doing as an interior non-edge defensive lineman in terms of leading all interior defensive linemen and creating pressures across the NFL. And then I thought the belly should be in too. I don't know. You're not going to get 5 guys if you're a team that's.
Oh, really? Oh, well, because the Ravens got 9.
Yeah,
so...
and they've locked up the playoffs and all that stuff. And the Broncos have exponentially gotten better. What was it? Zero Pro Bowlers in 2021, 2 in 22,
yeah.
And then I think it's been 3 and 3 in the last 2 years, right?
Yeah. Well, here is Pat Surtain, who's a slam dunk on everything about doubters and alternates. So we titled this segment, Coach, Chip on Your Shoulder.
Pat, you got 3 first teamers, but you also have 8 alternates. How cool of a reflection of this team's depth is it now to have that many players being represented?
It's great, and the even crazy part about it is a lot of people doubted us before the season. So I think it's just a testament to show how much this team is willing to prove out there. And obviously, I think a lot of other players deserve to be in that roster as well too. But being the alternate is a huge accomplishment as well too, because not many are able to say that. So huge congratulations to those guys. And I'm proud as a team as a whole, man. What we accomplished so far is huge. Now we got to secure this 10th win and reach that playoff spot for sure.
Again, the theme here, Coach, is doubters and people that motivate us. Here is Nick Bonito on proving people wrong.
100%. Like you said, I always had the confidence in myself that, especially in that draft, I knew I was one of the better players in there. And, when Denver took a chance on me, I kind of told myself I want to be able to prove, Denver right and why they picked me. And I always had that chip on my shoulder. So,
how powerful is the chip on the shoulder?
I think it's a great motivator. It's something that, I went to a college that's been the mantra for 30 years. Boise State. I mean, actually, I think they overplayed it in the Fiesta Bowl lead up. They were all wearing these shirts based off the head coach, Spencer Danielson, saying, "Please count us out." I actually really like it. I like it when it's an internal thing, when it's inside the building. But yeah, I think that this team does have a lot of no names that when the season started. How many people in the true National Football League media on that side of it knew who Nick Bonito was?
Nobody.
Frankly, like Zach Allen. I mean, was it like when he arrived from Arizona?
Cast off.
Kind of okay, cool.
No.
Brandon Jones.
Oh,
Like,
total cast off.
Miami Dolphins didn't really want him.
No.
So I like it because there's almost like there's a group of players. It's damn near all of them. Bo Nix, he was a 6th guy taken in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
They get into a room and they're like, oh, you too? Oh, they didn't want you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you also? And then it can be a powerful, almost like a glue that brings people together. And then when you can put that with other players, even coaches that have that same type of background, and I think it ends up being really a powerful motivator.
I remember training camp, and listen, sometimes you just have the orange and blue glasses on at training camp. It happens every year. But I do remember at training camp this year, Mike, like, geez, these guys look pretty good.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
There's moments of like, am I just wearing the blue and orange glasses or is there something here? And as it turns out, there was something there.
You know what was for me was the moment where I was like, maybe some of my blue and orange bias of just being around the team with no other competition, where I started to see it was the Packers joint practice.
Mm-hmm.
And of course they look good. And they when they showed up, it was like, oh yeah, Jordan Love's, throws the balls down the field and all the things. And there's a couple good looking receivers. And, but then I started like watching the practice, it's kind of keep going. It keeps going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Broncos like kind of almost as good as the Packers. A team that just obliterated the Dallas Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs. So yeah, it did happen.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to those that made it. Kind of weird about Cortland Sutton. All right. I'll get to my fantasy draft sort of free agent thing to you in a second. And I found my favorite mock draft yet. And I can't wait to run that past you. We'll do that just in a little bit. But first, we have to realize that this week we are playing the greatest backup quarterback ever, Carson Wentz.
And your thoughts just on Wentz as a quarterback?
Yeah, listen, he's in this league for a reason. He's big, strong. He was the first-round draft pick. We spoke during the offseason a little bit with him and his agents. And so, it's the player, but it's also everything around it and understanding what they're trying to do.
I know, Coach, you talked about with Mo.
Okay, Coach. Carson Wentz, for the record, by the way, everybody, has 20 passing yards this year. So there's that. So again, on the narrative of, we got to take everybody seriously, even though the point spread has gone up, it is now at 10.5 from 9.5 with the news that the Chiefs are barely going to play anybody. Coach, I know your naturally coaching instincts would warn you to never look past anybody. But seriously, if you can't beat this Chiefs team, what are you even doing putting on football gear?
We'll find out. I mean, I know the Broncos mentality and Sean Payton's mentality can't even be remotely close to your mentality with regards to, we of course we're going to beat these guys.
You're fighting it too. I can tell you're fighting it too.
Well, fighting that is called preparing for a game.
Okay. All right.
And that's what you do. Because
right.
if you don't prepare for a game,
let me put the shoe on the other foot. Let me put
Carson Wentz.
All right. Let me put the shoe on the other foot. Tell me, why should I be worried about this version of the Chiefs that they're going to play? And it's got to be more than any given Sunday, and they're professionals too.
I'll tell you exactly. Starting off right now, you have no idea who the extent of who's sitting out. You know for sure Patrick Mahomes. Have we confirmed anybody else? Like I'm talking,
I'll look it up.
Set in stone confirmation. So the unknown, that'd be my first thing. The unknown, because this roster is comprised of a lot of players, even in depth, that have won a lot of very, very high leverage football games. The second thing that I would say, and way more important than any given Sunday, is that you have players on the roster that are trying to put forth their best film, because their film is their future resume. Just like you and I right now, we're putting together some form of film right now, our tape. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you want to put out good tape or you're not going to get into other opportunities.
I'm
And so I
taking
do
this
think
show
that they're-
serious. That's where you're
That's
going.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if you just show up and you're just like, yeah, it doesn't matter, we're gonna lose. Carson Wentz is trying to get himself a job. There's other players in that roster that we might not know much about him. Carson Strong, he might be trying to get himself, in better position for the future in the Chiefs organization, the running back.
Sure.
Xavier Worthy, I bet he plays. He's been fantastic this year. As a
You
rookie.
think that? Well, you asked like who's not playing? Adam Schefter, our pal.
Yeah, I've read this.
Chris Jones, Isaiah Pacheco, George Karlaftis. Easy for you to say. Cornerback Trent McDuffie. And they don't expect DeAndre Hopkins, multiple offensive linemen, and other defenders.
Right. So I read Shefty's tweet.
Yeah.
Does it say we know this to be true, or does it say not expected? What is the wording? Because the wording matters.
It's could rest.
Okay. So that like the unknown piece of it. Listen.
Other potential rest candidates.
We know Mahomes, Kelsey's not freaking playing. Chris Jones is not playing.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Pacheco should not play
because
he's been banged up. Outside of that, I mean, I don't know who else would not play. Couple offensive linemen. I know they've.
Yeah, man. I mean, you just keep going down. Like, who's your 6th, 7th, and 8th offensive lineman? I mean, that's 3 guys. I think it was you. I think it was you on Sunday night when I was in Arizona. We did the show.
Yeah. You said I think the great line of demarcation for Andy Reid would be Super Bowl ring from the Kansas City Chiefs. You have one? Okay, you don't have to play. And then Carson Wentz is like, I have a Super Bowl ring. I don't need to play, right?
It doesn't count. You didn't play in the game. That's Nick Foley's. That's not even yours. You had a good year. Well, Philly special wasn't you, Carson. We figured it out without you there, pal.
No doubt.
That is pretty wild that Carson Wentz has gone from, really seriously an MVP candidate to watching the Super Bowl be won by the team that you were having a great year on the bench to whatever he is now.
Okay, so Carson Wentz, did he play for the Rams?
Oh my God.
In the last couple of years?
I can look it up. Why do you ask? I don't even know.
I'm trying to figure out what his last couple of years have looked like, because I know Indianapolis Colts. I'm saying more because I think his last start. Yeah, he played.
Good, nice job. 2003 with the Rams, yes sir. The Eagles 2016 to 2020, 2021 with the Colts, 22 Commanders. I totally forgot that.
Yep.
23 Rams, and this year with the Chiefs.
And so 2023 was his last start, week 18.
Okay.
I looked this up, and I was a little bit, it happened when I was on the show this morning, but all right. So 2023, he played in week 18.
That was it?
That was his only start in the season.
I didn't even remember he was with the Rams at all.
I was looking up when did Carson Wentz last start a football game, and so here it is, the regular season, week 18 at the 49ers. Okay, so in a game that had both teams resting or limiting their starting lineups, the Rams ended a 9-game regular season losing streak to the 49ers by rallying to defeat their NFC West rivals at Levi's Stadium. Getting the first start of the season in relief of Matthew Stafford, quarterback Carson Wentz completes 17 of 24 passes.
Damn.
For 163 yards and 2 touchdowns.
There you go.
Carrying the ball 17 times for 56 yards and another touchdown.
Wait.
Dual threat savant.
Wait a second. He had 17 carries? No, he did not. What?
Wikipedia, baby.
How do you have 17 carries as a quarterback?
I don't know.
17?
He was They were resting everybody. He said, "I'm the only person that can do anything here."
Wait a second. That cannot be right. I'm actually gonna. I gotta look that up, man. 17 carries in week 18 last year.
That's what Wikipedia says.
That is. There's no way. No way.
I could be terrible. I mean, I don't know, man. Here it is.
You got me now.
the actual
Week 18. You said week 18, right?
I got the actual score here. Okay. So
all right, I'm getting there too. And then with the Rams. All
oh
right.
yeah. Okay. So Carson Wentz, this is from ESPN.com.
Okay.
Carson Wentz leads the Rams to the NFC's 6th seed with a 21-20 win over the 49ers. All right. So the box
That
score,
is I'm looking at my mouth is dropped. The dude had 17. How do you have 17 carries as a quarterback, coach? The next Ronnie Rivers, the running back, had 13 carries for 52 yards. Carson Wentz had 17 for 56 and a touchdown. With the touchdown,
and then and his QBR, his QBR was almost 100.
Almost a perfect game.
So yeah, there.
So
and how about this?
They came from behind. They were trailing in the fourth quarter. They went for 2 for the win.
Oh my gosh.
That's so funny. That's hysterical. Wow. Yeah, they were down by 2, they were down by 7, and they went for 2 for the win. Sean McVay said, "Fuck it. I got Carson Wentz running the ball." Jesus, what was that play?
So how about the Rams? The Rams in that game improved their seed to a 6th seed. So he rested Stafford.
Amazing.
And probably in the thought that I don't really care about the 7 or the 6 seed.
Yeah.
And in beating the 49ers, who are also resting players, Carson Wentz, went out and improved. He changed the NFC playoff picture.
That is just so insane. Wow, that's crazy. I'm looking at it now. What a crazy game. There was actually a ton of time left on the clock. A ton of time. Not a ton. Well, I mean, there was like 4 minutes. Wow. Guess who got the 2-point conversion? Just take a guess.
Was it Locke? Or sorry, was it him? Was it?
No, it was a pass. But the touchdown was a 12-yard scramble for the touchdown.
Who was it?
Carson Wentz that had ran for 12 yards, and then they threw it to Artwell.
Oh, okay.
I never heard of him. But wow. All right, so
one more.
You're making a good argument.
Yeah,
based on past history and meaningless games. Carson Wentz balls out. You're making and they don't care about his health. They do not care about his health.
17 carries, man. You want to tote it 25 times? You want to put together an Ashton Genty 30 carries for 104 yards like he did against Penn State?
Wow. Somebody should bring that up to Sean Payton tomorrow. Hey, in a game similar to this one last year, Carson Wentz ran the ball 17 times. You got a plan for that, coach? Dude, that is such a good pickup.
Relative to Carson Wentz and his ability as a dual threat quarterback.
Oh, God.
Look.
Oh, my God. That's amazing.
He makes you do some interesting things defensively.
I guess so.
And then I got one more theory that gives me pause. All right.
Okay.
I think Sean Payton's beloved in the National Football League by all coaches.
No, not at all. I think he's one of the least popular coaches.
I think Andy Reid, is a guy who just loves Sean Payton.
I doubt it. I don't know why he would. I don't know what they would have in common.
What's Andy Reid kind of known to be? Just what's his reputation for what you can see, DMac?
Listen, bro, if you think they really don't give a shit if the Bengals are in the playoffs, and they think I'll tell you this, bro. If first bro of the night. If the Broncos lose, all right, sorry. If the Broncos lose this one, first of all, VJ will no longer be part of this organization. I'll guarantee you that. And there may be other significant changes. Seriously, which
I think would be a big mess, but that's just me. But anyway,
you can't lose this game. That's what I'm saying.
No, there will be a letting of blood if you lose this game in some semblance. Like you can't do this in this situation, and there not being some blood to shed.
Hey, by the way, I got a little inside information for you.
Holler.
A little bit. Deep regrets about not going for 2. not small
Yeah.
regrets,
Yeah.
deep regrets.
Yeah.
Shared by many inside the building. Like,
yeah, not good.
that's you. I'm not saying Sean Payton's job is on the line, but like,
You better make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's not going to necessarily yield anything, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I know sentiments. I've been around sentiments. Sentiments can be tough.
Let me get to my favorite mock draft, and that'll segue into college football, which was pretty remarkable and a pretty significant day for our boy Vic Lombardi. We'll get to that in 1 second. But this comes from, first of all, I tell everybody my favorite aggregator of mock drafts is NFL mockdraftdatabase.com. It is awesome. They don't do mocks themselves, but they put them all together in a very easy to find format. It's awesome. I could get lost in this thing for hours on end. It's just so cool. Bleacher Report by Jake Rill, whoever that is, who cares? But in this mock, Travis Hunter goes 1 to the Patriots. This does not involve trades. He has Shedeur going 2 and Cam Ward going 3rd. But that's not what's interesting to me. That's, not that crazy. Okay. The Denver Broncos, who are at 20, he does have Colston Loveland going 12 to the Colts. And yes, Tyler Warren going 20 to the Broncos.
That'd be beautiful.
Okay, talk to me. How would you feel about that?
I'd be, if that indeed happened, the Broncos would be chest bumping, high fiving, having champagne toasts. I just watched this player. I was right on the field in pregame warmups. I couldn't believe how athletic, how tall, how big, how versatile, and then watching his ball skills, just undressing my beloved Boise State Broncos secondary.
Yeah,
the dude he's incredible. Now, I also just recently found out from Matt Miller of the ESPN NFL draft coverage he's the guy.
Yeah.
I picked up my phone. I picked up my phone yesterday and just called him because I met him at the combine. Love the guy.
Very cool. Very cool.
He had a couple takes about that game in particular, players from Penn State, one being Drew Aller, the quarterback. That Drew Aller, his take, and he tweeted this out, so this is not private information. He tweeted out that Drew Aller would have a higher draft grade right now if he came out than Shedeur or Cam Ward.
Okay.
Which a lot of people watching this would be like, that's absolutely nuts. And I would probably agree with you on that. But there is some sentiment in scouting circles that the love affair with Cam Ward and Shedeur isn't as strong by the decision makers in the National Football League as it is with members of the media and those two guys.
Does not surprise me. Thinking that they're a slam dunk. It's early, man. It's early, and lots of things can change.
And it's a great process. That's the thing I'm excited about. Like there will be a lot of different things that will happen as a result of combine stuff and Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl Shedeur's going to, and it's all the stuff that I'm excited to cover. But Tyler Warren, if he indeed is a Denver Bronco, I mean, something probably will have maybe gone wrong at the combine, where it's either he just doesn't do something he doesn't test incredibly well in one area, or there's like a little tiny medical history that people didn't know about. Because this Matt Miller, he said that Tyler Warren will ultimately have a higher draft position grade than Brock Bowers a year ago.
Wow. Well, but Brock Bowers in some mocks last year was a top 6 guy. Certainly you saw plenty of mocks for top 10, and he just fell. Why? Because that's a lot to put on a tight end. It just is. It's a lot. And if you've got a top 10 pick, man, you probably have deeper needs at tougher to find positions. You probably do. You probably don't have the luxury of a tight end. So if Brock Bowers, who everybody loved last year, fell to 13, I don't think it's crazy that Tyler Warren could be around in the teens or something like that. Some of these guys do fall a little bit based on it's a tight end. Like Genty, this mock's got him going 13 to the Cowboys. And I haven't seen one mock that has another running back over Genty. Not one.
Right.
I mean, it's Genty or, and usually in most mocks, he's the only running back in the first round.
I'm actually looking at it right now.
Okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean he'll go that high. So like if I looked at the mid-round guys,
let me ask you this real quick. Is this you have the consensus mock draft? Is that how you did it? 2025 consensus, meaning they aggregate.
I don't. I just have I know what you're talking about, but I have Bleacher Reports mock draft, not a consensus.
So the interesting thing about the consensus mock draft, it kind of speaks to what you were saying about Tyler Warren.
Mm-hmm.
It has the Denver Broncos getting Tyler Warren at 20.
Yeah.
And then it actually has Colston Loveland, the tight end from Michigan, going to the Chargers in terms of consensus at 22. So I found that interesting.
That makes sense for tight ends, Mike. That makes sense for tight ends.
That's a beautiful thing. And they are two really, really talented tight end. But 2022 is good. Like that's what you want. You have your quarterback. Find the next best thing.
The other guy, and I want your feedback on, and we'll get to the games in a second, is Tez Johnson. Talk to me about Tez Johnson.
Man, I'm in love with the kid. I think he's everything that the Broncos as a fan base and as an organization was hoping that Troy Franklin would have been.
Well, let's move on. Unless you think it's just a little bit too much with him being basically an adopted brother to Bo Nix.
No, I don't think that's a problem at all. I think he's first class human being. My good friend of mine is the wide receiver coach at the University of Oregon. I've heard for a long time this is the guy you want.
Wow, that'd be amazing then.
And I think Troy Franklin and him are actually there's a little bit of redundancy with their play style and their body types.
I get it. Yeah,
Troy's a little bigger, believe it or not, than Tez is. Tez is slightly built. But Tez is he's a frisbee catching dog. He goes and gets the football out of the air. Whereas Troy Franklin was used predominantly at Oregon as a screen guy, which he's been used at times here in Denver. And then he was a bit of a, your kind of slot fade, go up and get it. And I'd say that the results were mixed on that. And
I agree.
I don't know, man. I never felt to me for drafting a quarterback from Oregon and then also making the decision to hit one of his pieces from Oregon, even since training camp, OTAs, never felt like there was like a synergy at all.
I just so weird.
And it just played out time and time again. And I think Troy's a talented player. I think he's actually, to be candid, he's exceeded my expectations from some of the information that I had about just his readiness as a pro player.
But we also saw, to keep it real.
Yeah.
We saw him getting chewed out day after day during training camp too.
Right.
And we're not allowed to be there during the season to sort of witness things for ourselves. So, and I don't know, man, like he does not seem to adjust his body in the air where so many of these receivers are human Gumbies.
Right.
That is like one of their amazing talents. Everything with Franklin just seems to be off. Like he slows down at the wrong time or he looks the wrong way or it just, and say, oh, Bo overthrew it. And I'm like, did he overthrow it?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. And that even when you're coaching it and you've got access to many angles of it, a lot of times, like you can't really say with exact certainty, did you slow up a little bit or not?
Yeah.
Did you start peaking up for the football too soon? One of the things that we always used to teach receivers down the field when you're running on like a go route or a slot fade, which are essentially the same angles of catch point, is that receivers would lose their speed. And actually a human reaction for pass catchers is to, when you're running, turn your head all the way and try to look at the actual quarterback on the ground. And we'd always tell them, where the ball's not coming to you from the ground. It's coming to you from the sky. And so you want to stay here and then you want to slowly peek up for the football. And then you just got to find it. And there are guys that are just innately like, I love the term Frisbee catching dogs because even
great.
the Gumby analogy, right? Think about like these elite retrievers that boom, they're and then they catch the ball, their hind legs are flipping around, and all they do is snatch that ball out of the sky and bring it back down to the earth. Right now, Troy Franklin just hasn't been that guy. And frankly, he's had so many opportunities. So many opportunities.
Well, listen, moving on from fourth rounders is no big deal. And I just want to run it past you to see what you thought. I don't want to be too biased. The story, if you don't know it, with this Tez Johnson guy and Bo Nix and his family is like, it'll bring a tear to your eye. And just the fact that this guy seems to be the real deal too, and could be available and around that the Broncos may need him, something to keep an eye on. But I'm going to look forward to talking tons of draft stuff with Coach Mike Sanford. I love it. Mike goes to everything. So I can't wait as this goes on to get into one of my favorite times of the year. What's odd for me, Coach, being a talk show host in this market for 25 years, dude, it's been since 2015 since This Week mattered. It's been since 2015 doing sports talk radio since This Week mattered, like the game matters. I haven't had a week that's mattered since 20 freaking 15. That's nuts, right? And I remember that game. I remember that game. That game that mattered, Coach, was when Peyton Manning accepted a role as a backup quarterback and Brock Osweiler started. And Manning was the only game in his time with the Broncos he did not wear a suit to the game because he didn't expect to play and talk to the media. And true story, Peyton Manning and Tyler Columbus both win in the game at the same time in the second half. And the rest is history for that year. But that was the last day of the year where the game actually mattered. That was against the Chargers back in 2015. Crazy, right? Until this week.
That brought, I heard you say that, DMac, and for me, who hasn't been a part of this really for just a couple of years living in this area, that kind of hit me between the eyes. Like this is a big deal. And to be in this position in this part of the season and have relevant football in the month of January. This is my desire. I want the Broncos to play awesome football on Sunday. It's what I want. I want them to play great football. I don't even give a shit about the score. I want them to play really, really good football and win the game.
Okay, well, that's all right. And win the game, right?
No, I'm saying like I don't care if it's like a 38-10 or I'll tell you this, I would not bet on this game.
10.5 points unless you're just the money line straight up.
Yeah,
the spread is tough.
We heard about Carson Wentz in meaningless Week 18 games.
There's
great. There's precedent there. The reason I want that is that I do look at this as an opportunity. It's an opportunity for Bo Nix to put a nice little beautiful ribbon on a really good regular season as a rookie quarterback, and then build a little confidence going into the postseason. Yeah. And I know that everybody's going to say if the Broncos win this game, they're going to get obliterated when they play the Bills. I don't agree with that. I think if they come out of this game, the defense in particular, like just looks really good, really competitive. They're creating pressure. They're wreaking havoc. And you have Riley Moss looks just a bit healthier. He's knocked off the ring rust. Pat Surtain ends up getting a scoop and score or a pick six and cements the defensive player of the year. Like there's the opportunity, DMac, for a lot of very positive exclamation points to be put on what has been an awesome season for the Denver Broncos. And I want to see that. That's the desire of my heart.
Okay, real quick here. Did you enjoy watching Notre Dame beat Georgia?
Yeah, I did. It was awesome. I love Notre Dame. I mean, I coached there. I was there for 2 years.
Correct.
I loved it. The game was kind of boring, man. I'm just going to be honest. Like, it just felt weird. I don't know. Both offenses in the game were just a little discombobulated at times. But that's kind of been Notre Dame. Notre Dame's really good. They make you lose. It's death by 10,000 paper cuts. Their special teams get you. Their defense is fantastic. And then their offense just hits like one or two big plays in the game and they beat you.
Did you enjoy watching Oregon get smoked by Ohio State?
I did.
You did.
I just, as a guy that I think Ryan Day's a good dude, man. I think the guy has
a lot of shit, no doubt.
He makes a ton of money too. So
that's true.
But,
very true. Very
and
true.
honestly, I love to see Chip Kelly kind of get his groove back. It's like I like Chip a lot. I've gotten to know him over the years. He's a guy that he's had I always root for guys in the industry that have kind of gone through it and come back, from it. And I think those two guys were awesome. And frankly, it's pretty interesting that none of these hot shot young coaches, that the Dan Lannings, the as well as your boy at ASU had his boys playing. It's interesting. It ends up kind of being a bit of an old guard. It's James Franklin.
Yeah.
And it's Marcus Freeman's a youngster. But he feels old school. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Old soul. Yep. Good guy for Notre Dame, no doubt.
Yeah, Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, Brain Trust, and then who's the fourth? Steve Sarkisian. Perfect guy who's been through the coaching, spin cycle, and he's been hung out and left for dead, and then he came back. And
were you pulling for Texas or ASU?
I was pulling. Oh God, it's weird.
Just be honest.
I was pulling for ASU because I'd had a pretty strong take about, and I stand by it, that Sam Leavitt is a better quarterback today than Quinn Ewers is.
Fun. I love that. Oh yeah, I think Quinn Ewers, if he seriously does have a $6 million offer from a Big Ten school, should take it.
Take it.
I don't think he'll do anything. I think Tanner McKee's career in the NFL will look amazing compared to Quinn Ewers. Take it. I mean, or be embarrassed. Yeah. I mean, I really don't know if he'll get drafted, which is wild, but whatever it is, he doesn't have it. The fact that ASU gave up a 4th and 12 to win the game. God damn, man. I mean, that was a good throw. Got to give him credit on that one. Hey, there's a lot of ways to screw that pass up, and he didn't. He put it on a string. Yep. How ASU just wasn't lined up at the goal line, just played everything in front of them. I mean, so what? They get a first down, right? Like, just can't let them score there. It's 4th down. I mean, make them make a play.
Probably should have just played, at least a single high defender. They didn't have one. They played cover 0, and they were sitting at the sticks. And when you sit at the sticks, somebody can inside release you, slip right by you. And if you can protect the 6 or 7 rushers, you just throw up a little duck fart out there, and that's exactly what Quinn Ewers did.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I think ASU is loaded with cocky guys.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm trying to be relatively nice here.
There's a good level of bravado, and a little. I think there's some dirtbag nature in some of this squad over there at ASU. And I like it. I do.
You need it. You need a little attitude when
let's just call it like it is. You're hanging out on Mill Avenue.
Yeah.
You got your tank top on. You got your barbed wire tattoos. You're looking for trouble. That's what this team looks like. ASU looks like that as a football team. They're gonna go drop their Riz game on whatever females are ready.
The movie Revenge of the Nerds, the nerd movie.
Yep.
ASU is the football team in that movie.
they're the bullies. They're the bullies. They're They get the itching powder, the talc on their
right.
It's,
like in the prison movie with Adam Sandler there.
Oh yeah,
they're the prison guards. In Bobby Boucher movie, they're the other team. they're the bunch of like assholes that you see, the cocky guys like in every movie, whether they deserve it or not. Like that's their whole attitude.
No question. No question.
So, but hey, listen, man, that's cool. And then Sam Leavitt and Scadaboo are holding hands at press conferences, and I don't know, who knows? Trying not to get some sort of venereal disease later on at Mill.
Yeah, I think it's because they're certified Eskimo brothers. So
shut up.
They need to show the that unity.
All right. On that note, we should leave. All right, Coach. Altitude After Dark. We live up to its name. We'll see you later. We'll see you on Sunday when we talk about hopefully a Broncos win and what lays ahead of the Broncos after that. We'll see you.